Okay, let's dive in to an incredible piece of cultural history. I mean, we've got one of the most brilliant psychological plot twists you will ever hear. We often think of history as, just a dry series of dates and battles, but sometimes it reads exactly like a modern drama. So today's explainer takes us all the way back to ancient China. We're going to look at a story about family, reputation, and an absolute mastermind who played the ultimate long game with his own life.
So, how does a guy who ruthlessly hoards his own family's wealth end up being known as history's most virtuous brother? It doesn't make any sense, right? Well, to figure out this totally counterintuitive mystery, we have to understand the massive stakes behind a very specific ancient Chinese political system. Because this isn't just a story about a greedy sibling, it's actually a profound look into a society where your personal morality was quite literally your resume. Back in the Han Dynasty, having a reputation for absolute virtue wasn't just a nice thing to have. It was literal currency for political power. Seriously, if you wanted to be a government official, just passing a written test wouldn't cut it. The whole society believed that only someone who respected their parents and truly loved their siblings could be trusted to be loyal to the nation. Only someone who wasn't greedy could actually protect the citizens. If the locals saw that you had these specific virtues, they'd recommend you to the imperial court, and the emperor himself would grant you the highly prestigious title of Shaolian. Now, having just one Shaolian in your family, that was considered the absolute, ultimate, unparalleled honor. It basically meant your family was the gold standard of morality. But today, we're looking at the completely exceptional Zhu family. Miraculously, they produced three. Three. And let me tell you, the path they took to get there was anything but conventional. Our story kicks off with some early tragedy for the eldest brother, Xu Wu. The parents of the Xu family actually passed away very early on. This left Xu Wu, who was barely a teenager at the time, to shoulder the massive responsibility of raising his two younger brothers, Xu Yan and Xu Pu. Day in and day out, this kid would endure grueling labor in the fields just to put a little bit of food on the table. And then at night, he'd light a lamp and teach his younger brothers how to read and write. They shared one bed, one blanket, and honestly, a bond that was far closer than average siblings. He was so deeply dedicated that instead of punishing them for misbehaving, and let's be honest, all younger siblings misbehave, right? He used a radically different approach. Whenever his brothers acted out, Xu Wu wouldn't hit or yell. Instead, he would go straight to their parents' memorial shrine, fall right to his knees, and just weep. He would loudly blame himself, crying that he had completely failed in his duty to raise them properly. And he wouldn't stop until the boys, completely overwhelmed with guilt and respect, apologized and promised to do better. The neighbors saw this incredible display of character and kept trying to arrange a marriage for Zhu Wu, but he flatly refused. He famously declared that he just couldn't marry yet because if he started his own family, he wouldn't be able to dedicate 100% of his heart and energy to his little brothers. This intense level of sacrifice made him an absolute local legend. I mean, people were literally writing songs about his virtue. Word spread all the way to the capital, and inevitably, the emperor himself summoned Zhu Wu to serve as an official. So, Zhu Wu heads to the capital, and because he's brilliant and incredibly articulate, he quickly earns the deep respect of the emperor and his fellow ministers. But even after serving successfully as a big-shot capital official for years, his heart was still back home. Eventually, he gets the emperor's permission to return to his village. When he arrives, it's this incredibly joyous reunion. His brothers had grown into strong, highly educated men. Zhu Wu helps them find wives, and finally, he gets married himself. Sounds like a picture-perfect ending, right? Well, here is where the story takes a super sharp turn. Because despite all the success, all the joyous reunions, and basically the entire village raining praise down on him, Zhu Wu was secretly depressed. He was deeply troubled. He actually spent a long time quietly agonizing over a major problem that absolutely no one else could see. Finally, he comes up with a plan. He calls his brothers, his new wife, all the relatives, and the neighbors together for a massive grand banquet. He stands up and announces that since they're all married now, it's time to officially divide the family assets. Now, this was a totally standard practice at the time, but what he does next, it shocks everyone in the room to their very core. Suddenly, this previously saint-like, perfect guy, Xu Wu, aggressively takes all the best assets for himself. Seriously, he claims the grandest mansion. He takes all the fertile, high-yield farmland. And, to top it all off, he pulls out a heavy chest full of bright white silver and claims every last coin for himself. Meanwhile, he literally points his younger brothers toward a few run-down thatched huts and the most barren, rocky, worthless soil on the hillside. And the way he justifies this massive greed, it's shockingly arrogant. He tells his brothers that because he's a high-ranking capital official, his social circle demands a really luxurious lifestyle. He says he needs the silver and the good house just to keep up appearances, completely and utterly abandoning his lifelong, caring nature. He's basically telling them, look, you guys are just country farmers. You'll be totally fine with the scraps. Now, you would absolutely expect a massive fight to break out here. The villagers are completely outraged. They're pulling the younger brothers aside, urging them to stand up for themselves and fight this blatant robbery. But instead, Zhu Yan and Zhu Pu accept this terrible deal with total grace. They just tell the villagers that their older brother raised them, taught them, and worked his fingers to the bone for them. They say they could never repay that debt. And honestly, whatever he wants to take, he deserves. They move into those poor huts without a single word of complaint, and they just keep visiting and honoring Su Wu exactly like they always did. As you can imagine, public perception completely flips. The villagers are absolutely disgusted by Zhu Wu's sudden greed. They even create this catchy, mocking song about him. They call him a fake Shaolian who took the good house and completely forgot brotherly love. But at the same time, the song praises the younger brothers. It says that by happily living in poor huts and working terrible land without any resentment, they're the ones who've proven themselves to be the true men of virtue. Zhu Wu's totally pristine reputation completely ruined practically overnight. But this massive local scandal has a really fascinating ripple effect. Because of this intense public sympathy and the brothers' absolute refusal to be corrupted by greed or anger, the story of their incredible grace under pressure travels fast. In fact, it reaches all the way to the imperial court. The emperor is deeply impressed by their unshakable character, and he immediately grants both younger brothers the prestigious title of Shaolian, summoning them to become capital officials themselves. So some time passes. The younger brothers are now successful, firmly established officials in their own right. Then, totally out of nowhere, Su Wu sends them a letter, demanding they return home immediately. He organizes another massive banquet, and he invites the exact same relatives and neighbors, people who now openly despise him. Everyone sits down. It is incredibly tense. They're all just wondering what selfish, crazy thing Su Wu is going to do now. But before he can even speak a single word, tears just start streaming down his face. He looks right at his brothers and finally explains the secret misery that had been eating at him all those years ago. He says, with this profound sense of relief and emotion, "My fame overshadowed you." You see, he realized that as long as he was the perfect, shining star of the family, everyone would just ignore his brilliantly talented younger brothers. They would have been stuck farming forever, all their talents totally wasted. So, he explains to the room, he intentionally played the villain. Yes, he divided the estate unfairly to test their virtue, but mostly, he did it to create such a stark, undeniable contrast that the entire world would be forced to look at how incredible his brothers truly were. When you lay it all out, Su Wu's master plan was absolute genius. He essentially played 3D chess with the entire Han Dynasty political system. He knew that virtue was literally the only currency that mattered, so he intentionally bankrupted his own moral reputation just to transfer all that social capital straight to his brothers. He completely assassinated his own character out of pure, unselfish love. He endured the intense hatred and mockery of his own community just to launch his brothers' careers. And if anyone in that room still had any doubts, he then brings out the original property deeds for the fertile land, and he brings out that exact same chest of white silver. He opens it up to show that in all those years he never spent a single coin, not one. He had been carefully preserving their rightful inheritance the entire time, and he practically begs them to finally take it back. Well, the younger brothers are completely overwhelmed, just moved to tears. But true to their incredible character, they adamantly refuse to take the wealth. They insist that whatever their older brother did was always fair in their eyes. The guests, who, remember, had spent years actively hating Su Wu, are now weeping too, deeply ashamed of their judgment and completely awestruck by his sacrifice. Ultimately, since none of the three brothers will accept this excess wealth, they all agreed to donate the immense estate entirely to the poor. The whole village is so incredibly moved by this resolution that they invent a brand new song. Those old mocking tunes, gone forever. The new lyrics celebrate all three brothers, recognizing that they are the ultimate, incredibly rare examples of the Shaolian ideal. You have an older brother who would completely ruin his own name just to elevate his siblings, and younger siblings who would gladly give up everything out of pure respect for him.
As we wrap up this explainer, it leaves us with a pretty powerful thought. I mean, we live in a society today that is hyper-focused on personal branding, individual accolades, and protecting our own reputations at literally all costs. But the story of Zhu Wu flips that entirely on its head. It really makes you ask, would you be willing to completely destroy your own perfect reputation and be hated by everyone you know if it was the only way the people you loved could truly succeed?